let's start.
Hi, Mr.
Hello, Andres. How are you? Crisette. Hello. Natalia. Natalia, are you new in class, Natalia? Or are you?
Yes, teacher.
Okay, so welcome. My name is Mr. Carlos. I'm covering this class for a while until further notice, but it's I think another teacher that gives this class. But for now, you're probably gonna be with me till you finish up. Okay, so welcome. Welcome, welcome.
Hi, teacher.
Hello, Alvaro. How are you? Good evening. It looks like a good afternoon because the sun is still out, right? But it's already 6 o'clock, so it should be good evening from 6 to 8.
Yes.
Right? How's Oruro?
Teacher?
How's Oruro? How is Oruro? Is it hot? Is it cold today?
Cold.
Cold?
It will be rain.
Oh, it's raining. Okay. Oh, it's gonna rain. Okay. All righty. Okay, so let's see. Natalia, why don't you can you turn your camera on, please? Just you for 1 second, and then you'll turn it back off. Don't worry. I just want to be able to know who you are. It's the first day. So there you go. Hello, Natalia. See, it's a little better, right? The interaction when you turn your camera on, it's a little better, the online classes. It would be good if we can have them on all the time, but if we turn them on, if everybody turns them on, then there's a delay, a little bit of a delay starts to happen with probably the connections. So, but welcome, and you're gonna be here with me a couple of weeks, two units, 23 and 24. So what can I tell you is just don't fall behind on your units when you're right now we're in unit 23, which is passive voice, and we just started on Monday, and I'm pretty slow. I'm slow because I like for everybody. I make sure everybody gets what we are doing, and we practice a lot with a lot of exercises. So you're not that far behind. I barely presented the passive voice and the active voice, the difference between two. And we did passive voice yesterday. We did passive voice with present simple, because you can use the passive voice with all the tenses, all of them: present simple, past simple. I mean, continue, everything, all the tenses almost. So that's what we did. So we're gonna catch up. You're gonna catch up to that right now because we're gonna do a review and plus some exercises. And today we are going to see the use of the passive voice with the past simple, which is very, very simple. All right, it's real simple. So, and we'll just practice. All right. So welcome, Natalia. So where are you from, Natalia? Can you just tell me a little bit about yourself? What do you do? Where you from? You go to school? Do you work? You're coming from a conversation class, yes?
Okay, teacher. I'm a student. I'm from Oruro, Bolivia, and I don't know.
Well, you go to school, right? You go to school. You're from Oruro. That's good. And now you're here in the class. All right, don't worry about it. Okay, good. So good to meet you. So welcome to the class. All right. All right, good. All right, so then we have, who else do we have here? I think that's Noah Crisette is here. All right, Gustavo, Andrew, good afternoon, sir. Stephanie, Cristel is back. And Jorge, you were in the last class, right? The last class was your first class, I think. All right. Isabel is coming in. Okay, let's see. All right. So let me make sure this is recording. All right. All right, so we have a full house tonight. I mean, this evening. That's good. Okay, so yesterday we covered the passive voice with the simple present, which is real simple. I mean, let's just do a quick review about passive and active voice. let's see, I don't know, let's Alvaro, can you tell me what the difference is between passive and active? In the active voice, what happens and what happens in the passive voice? Do you remember? What do you mean? No. I can't, you can't get good score. You guys can't get good scores from me every day and then not remember. You got to remember at least the difference between active. What happens with the subject in the active voice? What does it do? In the active voice, it means active. See, the word is telling you right there, active voice. What does the subject do in the active voice? Andrew, do you know? The active voice, difference between active and passive?
El passive voice creo que a lo que recuerdo se usa cuando en algo
Andrew.
presente, ¿no?
Andrew, I'm gonna use no, I was gonna use another language word, but I no entiendo español, man. Nah, man, try to ask me and try to tell me in English so you can practice, you know. It's better if you try and tell me. Just like the most simple way you can tell me. Active voice, what does it do? The subject.
Podría decir que the passive voice use the present simple in the sentences se move the subject.
Okay, yeah, right, exactly.
The position.
Right, the position changes, right? Right, okay, you're there a little bit there, good, okay, that's almost true. What else about the active and passive? Let's see, let's ask Stephanie, do you remember the difference? What's the main difference between the active voice and the passive voice? Come on, you guys know it's review every day. We reviewed what we advanced the last class. And this is since Monday. So what does the passive voice do? Difference between active and passive. What are we're gonna spend 2 weeks with the active and the passive voice? It was simple. You guys did all the exercises. Everybody got 100 in the exercises. So what's the matter now? Let's see. Let's talk to Andres. Andres, do you remember? Active, passive differences. I mean, if you guys don't know, nobody can tell me. It's just like there's no reason why to keep going to the next use of passive voice with the next tense. And we guys can't tell me what the difference is.
Teacher.
There goes Stephanie. Okay, go ahead.
And the active voice is one in which the subject who practice the action is evidenced.
Okay.
And the passive voice, here who is in the evidence is the subject who receives the action.
Okay, good. Okay, so for everybody, active voice, the subject does the action, right? The boy plays the piano. The boy is the subject, right? He's playing the piano. He's doing the action. The boy plays the piano. That's an active voice. Every time the subject is either you, me, your brother, your sister, whoever, your friends, you know, those are the subjects when we use the active voice. And so we say, the team lost the game yesterday. That's an active voice because the team is doing the action. The team is the one that lost the game. So that's active voice. Every time the subject is doing the action is active voice. I mean, those are the only two voices we have in English, is the active and the passive. And we use them a lot. You guys are gonna use it without realizing you are using it, but you have to, now this is where you guys get to know a little bit about the passive and the active voice. All right, so anyway, so that's the active voice. The subject does the action, right? And obviously we can use it with all tenses. It doesn't matter what tense. We're just doing it one by one so we can practice. Like yesterday we did with the present simple. Today we're gonna do with the past simple. Tomorrow we might do with the present progressive, or and stuff like that. So now the passive voice, we said the active voice, the subject does the action, right? Now in the passive voice, that it's the other way around. So like in the example, the basketball team lost the game yesterday, right? The game was lost by the basketball team yesterday, like the other way around. I mean, we'll see it in some examples right now. All right, so anyway, you guys can't forget that. I mean, if we did it on Monday, you guys should remember those two differences. Active, passive is where the subject receives the action, right? That was the difference. Active voice, the subject does the action. Passive voice, the subject receives the action. So that was the differences. All right, so let's look at some examples, and then you guys are gonna give me some of your own examples on the chat box, okay? All right, so let's go and all right, give me a second so I can pull up this this web page and see. All right, so hold on. We can see the quick review of both, which is the simple present. All right, so okay, you guys can see screen. Yes, okay, here you go. Yes, you can see. All right, okay, good. So just take a look at how many tenses, all the tenses that we can use with the passive voice. All of these, look: simple present, past, will, future, going to, future, present continuous, past continuous, present perfect, past perfect, passive with modals, and so forth. So we are barely around here somewhere. Simple past today, simple present yesterday. We obviously not going to see, we won't see all of it, but it's pretty easy once you start practicing, All right, so anyway, so this is what we saw yesterday. Simple present, all right, with the passive voice. All right, so we can make positive questions, affirmative questions, in other words, or question forms. And this is how this is the structure for everybody that needs to know the structure, right? Object plus am, is, or are, either of those is to talk in the simple present of the verb to be, right? That's when in the passive voice with the simple present is object plus the simple present of the verb to be, and then the verb is in the past participle, we said, right? Everybody remembers that yesterday. I mean, it should be pretty clear. All right, so this is the way we use the passive voice with the simple present. Okay. And then in the question form, we just put the simple present form of the verb to be. We put it in front of the object. And then the verb in the past participle. Let's look at some examples and it'll be clear for you guys. All right, so we're still with yesterday's stuff. Simple present passive, right? All right. So anyway, it's that obviously it's when something is done by someone regularly, every day, as expected, whichever one of those. All right, so let's read some examples here, like we did yesterday. Oops, sorry, hold on, give me 1 second. All right, so Andrew, can you read here the active and passive, the first examples here? Read the active first and then the passive, right?
Teacher, active. The gardener waters the flowers every evening. Passive. The flowers are watered by the gardener every evening.
Good, very good. Good job. All right, so everybody take a look, right? You see her, you heard Andrew, right? So let's look at the sentences. Where is the present simple there? Right, in the active, the gardener waters. The verb waters is in the present simple, right? Waters the flowers every evening. It's active because the gardener is the subject. He's doing the action. He's watering the flowers. So that's an active voice. How do we make that same sentence in the passive voice? We say, the flowers are watered. See, we're using the simple present of the verb to be, right? Are, am, is, or are, right? The flowers are watered. The verb has to be in the past participle. Either you add ed at the end, if it's a regular verb. If it's an irregular verb, it takes another form, right? And yesterday I sent you guys the link to all that, to the table that showed you the different irregular verbs and how we convert them to past participle. All right, so you guys have to pretty much try to remember those verbs. Try to get used to using those verbs so you can memorize them. You know, that's the only way. If you don't memorize them, it's not really no, how can you use them? How can you know how to put it in the past participle, right? The past participle is only when the verb takes ed, right? It takes ed at the end, the regular verbs. The irregular verbs, you have to change it up a little bit. All right, anyway. So the gardener waters the flowers every evening. The flowers are watered by the gardener every evening. Here, the subject is the flowers and it's receiving the action. It's not doing the action. It's receiving the action from the gardener who is watering them, right? So the gardener is watering the flowers. The flowers are watered by the gardener every evening. So we're saying the same thing, but in a different voice. The gardener waters the flowers every evening. The flowers are watered by the gardener every evening. Same thing, doesn't change. It's just the active when the subject is doing the action, and it's passive when the subject is receiving the action. That's all you guys have to remember about active and passive all the time. All right, let's see. Araceli, can you read the next examples, please?
Helen doesn't drink anything in parties. Nothing is drunk by Helen in parties.
Very good. See, so now that's an irregular verb, right? Drink. You can't say drink it, right? So it's an irregular verb. And if you guys take a look at that table I sent you with that link yesterday, you can see all the different irregular verbs and how you change them up. All right, so Helen doesn't drink anything in parties. Helen is the subject, is doing the action, right? So that's active. Helen doesn't drink anything in parties. And then in the passive form, nothing is drunk by Helen in parties, right? So that's the way we turn it. And then here we're using by. We can use by. There's a way we can use by, right, with the passive. And we'll see that as we move on. All right. So anyway, that's another example. Let's see another example. Alvaro, can you read the next example, please? In the question form, right?
Yes, teacher.
Just read it.
Who sells umbrellas? Who are umbrellas sold by?
Exactly, right? Umbrellas in the active voice, umbrellas is the subject, you know. Who is the subject? Selling umbrellas. Who sells umbrellas? Who are umbrellas sold by? Right? That's in the passive form. All right, and then the next example, let's go with Stephanie. Can you read the next example, please?
My mother doesn't paint the walls, and the walls aren't painted by my mother.
Exactly, right? So that's a regular verb, paint. You just add ed to make it past participle, right? Painted. So my mother doesn't paint the walls. That's active voice because the mother is doing the action, or doesn't do the action, which in this case it's negative, right? Doesn't paint the walls. And then in the passive, we say the walls aren't painted by my mother. We are using the past, the simple present. The here are not painted, right? So the walls are not painted by my mother. Good. And then we did these exercises yesterday. So let's see, do them again, since you guys forgot the differences. So do them again, and then we're gonna go ahead and see the passive with the simple past. All right, let's see. Sorry, excuse me. Sorry, you guys. I forget that we can just pull you guys out right here. All right, so Natalia, do you think you can do an example now? Do you get it a little bit? Passive voice with the present simple? It's not that hard, right? Let's see, let's just have somebody else do a couple of them, and then you can do some. Cristel. Hello, Cristel, how are you? Good evening.
Good evening, Mr.
Hello.
I'm fine, thank you.
Good. Can you do number 2, please? Can you see the example? Many people read these writers' articles. These writers' articles are read by many people, right? We're using the present simple. All right, so try to do number 2. Change it. Read the first one read the active voice sentence and then change it to a passive voice. I'll write it. You just tell me.
The cows milked.
First, let's just read the active voice first.
Object, the cows.
So Cristel, can you hear me?
The cows.
Yeah, just read. Just
Yes.
read number 2. Just read it. Read it first.
Jackie milks the cows every morning.
Good. Jackie milks the cows every morning, right? Active voice. Jackie is the subject. It's doing the action. Milks the cows. So Jackie milks the cows every morning. It's in the present simple. Yes, everybody sees that, right? I mean, I want you guys to see everybody. I want everybody to say, yes, Mr. Carlos, we see what you are saying. Do you guys see the active voice in this sentence? Jackie is the subject. She is doing the action. What is the action? She's milking the cows every morning. Jackie milks the cows every morning. Active voice, because the subject, Jackie, is doing the action. All right, so you guys are not going to answer me, right? All right, good. All right. So, okay. So now, Cristel, change it to passive voice. You were right. You were starting correctly, right? You said the cows what? You have to use the present simple of the verb to be, either are, is, or am. Any of those. So the cows what?
are
Very good. The cows
milk
are milked, right? Very good. Milked, the verb in the past participle, right? The cows are milked
by Jackie
by Jackie. Very good.
every morning.
Every morning. Very good. See? Good job. Does everybody agree? Is that right? Yes or no? You guys are no fun, man. Why you guys make English class so bored? I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say the word boring, but that's because you guys make it that way, you know. Instead of interacting, somebody's answers, the other one says yes or no, or you know. Oh my goodness. All right. So anyway, Jackie milks the cows every morning. The cows are milked by Jackie every morning. Number 3. Chris said, do number 3, please. Read it in the active voice, how it is, and then change it to the passive voice.
Benny never understands the new teacher. The
Okay.
new teacher
The new teacher, very
is,
good.
is never understood by Benny.
Sorry, the new teacher is, right? Is never
Yes.
understood by Benny. All right, so tell me why in the active voice, why is this an active voice sentence? Tell me why. Benny never understands the new teacher. So you guys got to repeat. You just got to tell me because, okay, so listen. I mean, everybody listen to me, everybody right now. All right. So if tomorrow we come to class and I ask you why in the sentence, Benny never understands the new teacher, why is that in the active voice? That's what I'm going to ask all of you tomorrow. Your answer is going to be because Benny is the subject, Mr. Carlos, right? And he's doing the action. So that's active voice. Benny is the subject and he's doing the action. Here, he never understands the new teacher. That's the action he's doing. All right. And then when we change it to a passive voice sentence, we say the new teacher is, that becomes the subject and is receiving the action. The new teacher is not going to do nothing. Still not is the new teacher is still not being understood by Benny. The same thing. Benny never understands the new teacher. The new teacher is never understood by Benny. Saying the same thing. But in the passive voice, the new teacher is the subject and is receiving the action. All right. So you guys have to be able to tell me, explain to me that way every sentence that I ask you. Why is that in the active voice? Because the subject is Jackie, and Jackie is doing the action. She's milking the cows. That's how you're supposed to explain to me or answer when I ask you guys. So tomorrow when I ask you, if you don't answer me in that way, you get 0 for participation for tomorrow. All right. All right. Because I don't know if you guys are understanding. You guys don't give me no feedback, you know? It's like you guys don't tell me, yes, Mr. Carlos, no, Mr. Carlos, or I mean, we don't want to answer you, Mr. Carlos. Something, say something. You know? All right, anyway. All right, so do number 4. Jorge, do number 4.
Okay, mister. Everybody loves chocolate. And chocolate
Use the
is
present
loved.
simple. Very good.
Is loved
Very good.
by everybody.
Very good, right? Chocolate is loved by everybody. Everybody loves chocolate. Why is it an active voice? Because everybody is the subject and they're doing the action. They're loving chocolate. And then in the passive voice, chocolate is the subject, is receiving the action. Chocolate is being loved by everybody. You know what I mean? That's how you're supposed to explain to me when I ask you guys tomorrow. Por si acaso. All right. All right. So now I think, sorry, where we at? I keep clicking something different. I think I'm in Google Meet or something. All right. So now I think Natalia, I think, can do the next example now after all those examples everybody else did. So Natalia, do number 5.
Okay, teacher.
So first read it, right?
Okay. Kids always eat candies, and candies are always eating for kids. By kids, sorry.
Okay, kids always eat candies. Candies are always. All right, what was the verb? What was the verb? How was the verb? Natalia? Candies are always what?
Eaten.
Eaten, very good. Candies are always eaten by kids, right? Don't forget the by, right? So candies are always eaten by kids. So in the first, kids always eat candies. Why is it active voice, Mr. Carlos? Because kids are the subject and they are doing the action. They are always eating candy. And then in the passive voice, the candies are the subject and they're receiving the action. They are being eaten by the kids. So that's why it's passive. All right, so remember, you can't explain tomorrow. It's 0. All right, so the American people elect the members of Congress. Let's go with, let's see, let's go with Isabel. Isabel, can you do number 6, please?
Okay, teacher. The members.
First, can you read the
Okay,
active
teacher.
voice?
The American people elect the members of Congress. Sería the member.
Good, the members. What else? The members. The members of.
The member of Congress.
Okay, the members of Congress. Now tell me, use either are, is, or am. Which one? The members of Congress
Are
very good.
elected.
Very good, right? Elected
By the American.
by the American people. Very good.
American.
Very good, exactly. Good job. So the American people elect the members of Congress. Why is it active voice, Mr. Carlos? Because the American people are the subject and they are doing the action. They are electing members of Congress. Passive voice. The members of Congress are the subject. They are receiving the action because they are being elected by the people, by the American people. All right, so that's passive voice, saying the same thing, but in the passive voice. So the members of Congress are elected by the American people. All right, good. And number 7, let's go back to Natalia. Do number 7, please. That's in the question form, right? Where'd Natalia go? Let's see. There she go. Natalia, your mic is off.
Sorry, teacher.
All right, good. So do number 7 for us. It's in a question form. Your mic is off again. Your mic is off again. So what do you have to put in front? First read, Natalia, just read first the active voice question. Read it first.
Okay, teacher. Does the mechanic check the brakes regularly?
Okay, good. Does the mechanic check the brakes regularly? Now, to make it into the passive voice question form, we have to put before the subject, we put either are, is, or am, right? So in this case, we're talking about the brakes, plural. So what are you gonna put? Are, is, or am?
Is.
It's plural.
Sorry, are.
Okay, so are the brakes correct?
Yes,
Are the
teacher.
brakes wet? Well, the verb, give me the verb in the past participle. Are the brakes?
Check it.
Very good, right? Are the brakes checked by the mechanic regularly? Question form. Oh, it's already in the question. Are the brakes checked by the mechanic regularly? Does the mechanic check the brakes regularly? Same thing, right? Why is it active voice question, Mr. Carlos? Because the mechanic is the subject and is doing the action. It checks the brakes. And then in the passive voice, the brakes are the subject because they receive the action, right? Because the brakes are being checked by the mechanic regularly. All right, so that's the difference between active and passive. Active does the action, passive receives the action. And then we just use it with all the different tenses that exists. All right. Okay, so I think it's clear as far as the present simple and what is active, what is passive, and what is passive with the use of the present simple, right? In the question form and the affirmative form, right? All right. So let's see. Let's submit our worksheet. Did you guys get a good grade or what? What does it say? This writer's articles are read by, okay, so anyway, those are the answers, right? Are the brakes checked regularly by the mechanic? We said it the other way around, but it's the same thing, right? All right, so good. So this is the simple present form of the passive voice, all right? All right, so we have 1 minute left in the meet. And so what we are going to do is let's take 1 minute break, come back after a minute, come back in the same link again, okay? After a minute, all right? And we'll see the past simple with the passive voice and just practice, do some exercises and finish up. All right, so I'll see you guys back in a minute. Bye, you guys.